I think the first pick of the draft is the easiest one right now. It's kind of a consensus. Aiden Hutchinson to the Jacksonville Jaguars is a given at this point. They could go Evan Neal. With them franchise tagging, Cam Robinson has kind of thrown the experts off, and now they assume it's Aiden Hutchinson. That doesn't mean they can't take that back. They can. Happened to Josh Norman with the Panthers a couple years ago, so we don't know. But at this point in time, it makes it pretty obvious it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson with the first pick. And with the second pick, you can go two ways here. There's two players that the Lions are reportedly high on. That's Travon Walker and Malik Willis. They got a first-hand look at Malik Willis at the Senior Bowl, and we're there at his pro day. I think this is where the Detroit Lions, with their second pick, should take the big step and draft Malik Willis and kind of say, like, you can be our guy. I personally think Malik Willis can be that guy. He is has a very strong arm, evident of his pro day. He enjoys throwing outside the numbers, which most young quarterbacks don't enjoy. They usually like to check down to their tight end, like to throw quick slants to the receivers. He's very accurate outside of the numbers, and I think that can translate to the next level as soon as he figures out how to feel comfortable throwing over the middle. That's really all that he's missing from his game. And with number 3, the Houston Texans. This is where the draft in the top 10 could get thrown head over heels. Granted, the Lions kind of can too by not taking Malik Willis and drafting, a Travon Walker or Kayvon Thibodeau. But the Texans can take Thibodeau here. I don't think anyone would think they wouldn't, or think that would be a bad thing. However, I just think they need so much help on the offensive line, and if they really believe in Davis Mills, drafting a lineman to help block makes the most sense. And I think I got them taking Ike Ekwonu. Most versatile. They can plug him in at guard if they like their tackles for whatever reason. Injuries happen in the league, so most versatile, consistent guy, Ike Ekwonu, fills that perfectly. The New York Jets. Now, I'm not trying to be biased here. I'm not making Thibodeau fall to the Jets as a fan. But personally, Robert Saleh has been caught saying he wants guys that can absorb the playbook, that understand the playbook. Because if you look at it, it's really between Kayvon Walker and Travon, or Kayvon Walker. It is really between Travon Walker and Kayvon Thibodeau. Do you want the proven product that's shown, his pass rush moves that he possesses? Or do you want a project who hasn't really done that, but he has, in the combine, it's essentially proved he has the athletic ability? I don't know. It's kind of up to Robert Saleh and then what they feel like they can accomplish with Travon Walker. And personally, I want to stay away from Thibodeau. And that's no knock on his ability as a player. He will be a game record for years to come. I just think, personally, here at number 4, we should draft Travon Walker. The reason why I say that is because we have edge pieces. The Jets have JFM. The Jets have Carl Lawson on the outside. They just recently signed Solomon Thomas to help Quinnen Williams on the inside. So that rotation, I think, can help train Travon Walker into his role. And with that elite athletic ability he possesses, the freakishly long arms he possesses, that coaching staff can coach him up and really really reach his full potential. And the New York Giants. So we're just going right across MetLife Stadium straight into Giants territory. I think this is actually the perfect scenario for the Giants, honestly, because really you're only deciding on, do you think the Panthers might take Evan Neal? Do you think the Panthers might take Kayvon Thibodeau? Whichever one you think the Panthers want, you take them at 5. I personally think you can't let Thibodeau possibly get taken by the Panthers. but you have to help your offensive line first and foremost. And I think Evan Neal at 5 makes the most sense. And now you leave the Panthers, who are really desperate, honestly, at this point in Matt Rhule's career. He has not lived up to expectations. He thought Sam Darnold was the one. He doesn't think so now, and it's pretty obvious. Sam Darnold, for some reason, thinks he has proved. That's another story for another day. All right, so this is where I think is going to be the big surprise of the draft. Malik Willis has already gone at 2, and I feel like if Malik Willis was available at this point, the Panthers would take him, but he's not. So you look at the quarterbacks available right now. At number 6, you have Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ridder, Matt Corral, Sam Howell. Matt Rhule was a great college coach. You think he would go after a Matt Corral or Desmond Ridder. I think those two. I think the only reason why I think Kenny Pickett is not available here is he didn't play in a jet sweep motion type offense. Pittsburgh did run that, but mainly it was Kenny Pickett drops back, makes a play. So I see Desmond Ridder and Matt Corral as the 2 most potential. But Matt Corral seems to have a love affair with the Seahawks. So I personally think Desmond Ridder is the best quarterback day one. I think Malik Willis has the higher ceiling. I think Desmond Ridder is the guy you can play right now, and he won't be terrible for you, but he also won't be great. So I think at this point, Matt Rhule's desperate. He selects Desmond Ridder. At number 6, who knows? Desmond Ridder could live up to the expectations, but you never know. Then again, this is the perfect scenario for the Giants again. This is the perfect scenario for the Giants again. Kayvon Thibodeau's still on the board. Or do you go corner and go sauce? You have choices. Kayvon Thibodeau, we can continue making him slide in my mock draft, but I just think he's too talented to not take here at 7. Honestly, I feel like this should be his ceiling is 7. But you never know. The NFL draft could get crazy. Personally, I think they take Kayvon Thibodeau at 7. He's going to be the next JPP, the next Michael Strahan for them. Hurts to say as a Jets fan, but it just is what it is. It didn't fall our way. And number 8. Number 8 is interesting too, because you still have a quality edge in Jermaine Johnson here, who personally I think is worth an 8th pick, but the Falcons have to agree with this, right? And their first pick was a tight end last year. So I think they go for the most freakishly athletic guy, which I think could be Stingley or Garrett Wilson. I don't think they take Kyle Hamilton here. I think Kyle Hamilton's actually going to slide due to his inability to play in coverage. Not zone coverage, but man-on-man essentially in the slot. So the Atlanta Falcons here, I think, select Garrett Wilson. Taking the first receiver off the board, which many people have Garrett Wilson as their number 1. The wide receiver class this year is very interesting because depending on what you want from your receivers, different receivers can be your number 1 receiver. So the Falcons have nobody at receiver. They need a draft one, and they take the best one available in Garrett Wilson. Seattle Seahawks are here now. This again, kind of the same thing. It gets really interesting. Derek Stingley having a great pro day. How can you not take that? Jermaine Johnson, they need rushers. How could you not take that? Kyle Hamilton, they have Jamal Adams, so that doesn't make sense. And you have Ahmad Gardner. And I really think Ahmad Gardner is their best choice here, even though personally I think Stingley has a higher ceiling. Day 1, Gardner is going to be able to play. I think you put in Ahmad Gardner, especially after losing DJ Reed, your number 1 corner, to the Jets. You need something at this point. Something. I wouldn't put it behind them. They draft Charles Cross, but not everyone is going to go into the trenches with their top picks. So I think you build foundations for your defense. you draft Ahmad Gardner. You definitely draft Ahmad Gardner at number 9. And at number 10, the Jets have now missed out on what most of their fan base wants at 4 and 10 is Ahmad Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Kayvon Thibodeau. And now we're left with the 10th pick with Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, and Thibodeau off the board. So like, where do we go? Where do we go from here? Personally, the Jets went after 3 receivers: Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, and Tyreek Hill. What are all 3 of those have in common is that they are deep threats. They present unique problems at the 3rd level of the defense. So I think this makes the most sense to draft Jameson Williams or Drake London with this pick. However, Drake London has rumors of not being the fastest guy. That's the reason why he catches a lot of those jump balls. It's just not creating that separation. Jameson Williams, however, does that and knows plenty of the route tree. I think the Jets surprise people here and take Jameson Williams at number 10. And with the 11th pick, the Washington Commanders. Again, they need help relatively. Not even anywhere. Their team is relatively like decent everywhere. So it's kind of, what do you draft here at 11? They say they need wide receivers, but you have Curtis Samuel, McLaurin. You know, it's not exactly the most urgent need. But they did struggle pushing the ball downfield last year, and no fault to a McLaurin. Curtis Samuel just didn't pan out. Heineke didn't exactly pan out either. So I wouldn't be surprised if they take Drake London here. But personally, I think Derek Stingley is the best guy to pick here. I understand why people think they should draft Kyle Hamilton. They did lose one of their safeties this offseason. So it makes sense. Fill it in with Kyle Hamilton. However, they don't play a zone defense that often. They're more of a man-to-man or down lineman. We're going to beat you in the trenches. We're going to make you try to block us, right? So I think adding talent in the back end only helped their options. And I think Derek Stingley goes at 11, especially with how great of a pro day he had. And then number 12, the Minnesota Vikings. I love this pick for the Minnesota Vikings. I feel like no matter who ends up at 12 for the Vikings, it is a win for them. Obviously, you could go Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt here. Team up with, Daniil Hunter on that defensive line. However, this is who I got Kyle Hamilton falling to. And the reason why I say this is because of Patrick Peterson, essentially. He can be a great, I want to say, great leader for him in the secondary, and they need the secondary help. Let's just say their secondary is the only reason why they lost games last year. And with the number 13th pick, the Houston Texans. This is where I think it ends up being great value for the Texans, because there was an argument for them to take a pass rusher at 3. Well, they didn't. They bolstered their offensive line. So at 13, you end up with the perfect edge for you, waiting for you, in Jermaine Johnson. Crazy good value. Jermaine Johnson to me is a top 10 talent. If you can get him at pick 13, you don't hesitate to hit that send button. Hit that send button. I never said that for drafting somebody until now. What am I even saying? All right. Anyway, Baltimore Ravens. They do need interior defensive linemen, but hear me out. Jordan Davis for them here doesn't make the most sense. Jordan Davis is a nose tackle, a block eater for your left ends and your outside linebackers. He while being an athletic freak, he's not exactly what the Ravens need at this point. They got a Dafe Owe. I think you need a guy that can move around those 3 interior line positions. Devontae Wyatt makes the most sense here. So this is why I actually have Devontae Wyatt possibly being the, the interior guy they take. And I can also see them even drafting Trent McDuffie or Booth Jr. However, at this point they need defensive bodies. And I'm gonna go with Devontae Wyatt being drafted, being the first interior lineman taken off the board at number 14. Surprising people. Number 15, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they just recently made a trade. They had the 15th, 16th, and 19th pick. Why you would trade those 3 picks, I do not know. But they, for whatever reason, traded their 16th pick and their 19th pick to the Saints, or an 18th pick and a first-round pick next year. I have this eerie feeling that they told the Saints who they're going to pick at 15 and 18. And the Saints wanted to move in front of the Chargers for a receiver. And now who? So I think this makes it easy for the Eagles at this point to draft Drake London. That is who they're looking for. They're looking at. They love him. It helps Jalen Hurts down the field. He only had Devonta Smith to throw to. And they don't really need a fast guy blowing the top off because they already have that with Devonta Smith. Having a great possession receiver in Drake London at the 15th pick, great value, perfect fit for the Eagles. Which then brings us to the Saints, which makes the most sense here. Like, hey, you get the pick before us, just promise not to pick the guy we're trying to pick. You know what I mean? We'll help you out by giving our 2023 pick. And this makes the most sense for the Saints. So now the Saints go, okay, you took Drake London. I didn't want Drake London. I wanted Chris Olave from the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, this is what to me makes the Saints trade make the most sense, is they want to get in front of the Chargers, who might have selected a Chris Olave or a Drake London. So now this allows the Chargers to go, they kind of got to go back to the drawing board of what we're going to pick. And so this is where it makes the most sense for either Charles Cross or Jordan Davis here. And yes, I have Charles Cross sliding, and this is not due to I think Charles Cross is a horrible lineman. No, I think he's known as a pass protector. And a lot of these teams, while they need pass protecting, guys like Evan Neal and Ike Ekwonu can do not as well as Cross, but can do a fine job. And these teams, all in between this, don't necessarily need that from their tackles. So this is why I have him sliding, just based on team need, not talent. And this is where I think kind of Charles Cross makes the most sense here. But the Chargers did address their defensive line. They need linebackers. They need defense. Why is edge here? They have Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. I can't believe that. Anyway, so they did they haven't really addressed. They did get Sebastian Joseph Day, but you've seen defensive tackles thrive next to they did get Sebastian Joseph Day, but they did get Sebastian Joseph Day. But you've seen guys work next to Aaron Donald, get paid because of what they did next to Aaron Donald, and not kind of like Phil. I'm not saying Joseph Day is going to be that, because I think he's a decent defensive lineman. But you get Jordan Davis in that rotation of that defensive line, and your defense is set. You have Jordan Davis, Khalil Mack, and Joey Bosa. 3 athletic unicorns on the defensive line. With Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson in your division, you're going to need them. That's all I'm going to say. And now we have the Eagles. They do have an aging offensive line, so I wouldn't even put it past them snatching Cross, who has kind of fallen in their lap, really. But again, I personally think they have a deal with the Saints, correct? So they have their eyes on someone they want, and they're gonna draft who they want. And I think this is kind of easy. Trent McDuffie, all-around star. He's gonna have Darius Slay back there with him in the secondary. They need that. It's going to help them a lot. Also, hear me out when I say this. I know the Eagles need edge rushers. They're not going to draft one. They are paying both their edge guys up 10+ mil a year. They're not gonna draft another one in the first round. Second, third round, I can see it, but in the first round, they're not doing it. They're not gonna threaten those guys with their job like that. And the New Orleans Saints, and again, I think this makes the perfect sense. They know who the Eagles are gonna take. They know they're not gonna take their guy, and now they kind of have options here. Do we draft Charles Cross to help Jameis Winston drop back and just toss the ball? Or do we draft Trevor Penning and help hand the ball off to Kamara and Deontay Harris in the passing game? That's kind of up to them. Completely up to them. They lost Taron Armstead. They needed left tackle. And while Charles Cross is a great pass protector, I see them going to Trevor Penning. The only reason why I say that is simply because of his ability to run block, and I think the Saints are going to really press running the ball this next coming year. And then we have the Steelers. This is a good one. I think 20th is they kind of overachieved last year, and with their normal pick being the 20th pick is kind of, I don't want to say screwed them, but is not put them in a good spot. So they need linemen. They need secondary help. However, there's not many. I mean, Booth Jr., you could see them picking, but I don't see that as a necessary priority. Their offensive line was one of the worst offensive line units last year, and they still managed to win games. So even a small upgrade in Charles Cross could potentially help that team. And I think they select Charles Cross just because of his talent, his top 5 talent, slipping to the 20th pick just simply based on team need. And I don't put it past Charles Cross, the Chargers passing on Jordan Davis, the Saints passing on Trevor Penning and Charles Cross being selected. However, in this unique situation, I have Charles Cross sliding. In this unique situation, I have Charles Cross sliding to the 20th pick. And this is where it gets interesting. This guy is actually a late climber, just like Jermaine Johnson, just like Jordan Davis. I think the Patriots, with J.C. Jackson leaving, they need help in the secondary. Devin McCourty's getting old. You need help there ASAP. Essentially, almost everywhere on defense, you need help. And I personally feel like Daxton Hill is the guy here for the Jets. He can play nickel corner. He can play boundary corner. He can play free safety. And that's exactly what the Patriots love. They love versatility in their defense, and that'll only help push them forward. And now you have the Green Bay Packers pick that they traded. For. This is why they moved up. Who has fallen to them that they need, right? You have Karlaftis. You have a Treylon Burks. You have a Jahan Dotson. You have a Boya Mafe. You have a David Ajabo. You have a lot of options here. Sneak a lot of guys into the first round that you potentially don't think could be in the first round. And I think this draft this year is going to be really surprising. I'd be surprised to get 10 of these picks right, honestly. But aside from that, I think at this point, you have the Green Bay Packers. They need receivers. And while I think Jahan Dotson's a great choice, I think having a half running back, half wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers only helps their case. And it's really up to Matt LaFleur and who he really truly enjoys more in these receivers. I could see Pickens. I could truly honestly see Pickens getting picked here. I could see Christian Watson getting picked here. I could see Treylon Burks getting picked here. I could see Jahan Dotson getting picked here. So I'm personally gonna go with someone that they really already drafted that kind of matches this profile, and that's Christian Watson at 22. Yes, at 22, as a huge surprise for the draft, leaving Jahan Dotson and Treylon Burks up on the board. And out of all these top, out of all these 20 plus picks, I think this is the one I'm most sure of. They kind of ignored this position, and they did lose Chandler Jones, so I could see them going with the boy Amafe. Yeah, George Karlaftis, I can see that too. However, I think he's kind of sliding down as a strictly like a edge 3-4 guy / defensive tackle in a 4-3. So they've ignored this corner position. They need help. It's Booth. It's essentially Booth or Elam. I think Booth falls in their laps, and they draft Andrew Booth Jr. Extremely talented. Like, I'm talking extremely. He'll be a great cornerback for years to come. And now we get to the Dallas Cowboys, who surprised everybody with this pick. Lewis Cine? Nah. Why would we do that? Jaquan Brisker? Nah. Treylon Burks? Might be getting somewhere. Jahan Dotson? Nah. Kaiir Elam? No, not even close. They go Boya Mafe to replace DeMarcus Lawrence. Telling you, the Cowboys have been trench based. Jerry Jones knows what wins football games. Yeah, I said that. I just said that, but I wholeheartedly mean that. And if he's smart, to replace DeMarcus Lawrence, it's too big of a loss. And Boya Mafe killed the Senior Bowl. He is an athletic freak. Come on. I mean, he is worth a first round. He is worth a first round pick. So now I already have three surprises right now. Charles Cross sliding all the way to the Steelers. Daxton Hill being drafted at 21 by the Patriots. Christian Watson being taken with the 22nd pick, and Boya Mafe with the 24th pick. And we get to the Buffalo Bills, which their secondary absolutely killed them last year. I can see them going Devin Lloyd here. And here's why I say that. Matt Milano is a great, well, I shouldn't say great. That's being too nice, too bullish on him. Matt Milano is a decent cover linebacker, decent run stuffer. Tremaine Edmonds, good run stuffer, not so fast and spacey, in pass coverage. And honestly, that's what led them losing the Chiefs game. They attacked Matt Milano, they attacked their secondary. So you in this instance, you have to go cornerback or linebacker, in my opinion. I know some people have him drafting Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. They picked up J.D. McKissick. They're going to have a little trio back there. I don't think they're too worried about running back to spend a first round pick on a running back. And so I think Kaiir Elam makes the most sense here. You got Tre'Davious White. He is reaching towards the end of his career. He's great, though. He could still be great next year, but you never know. He's a question mark coming off this next season from an injury, and that's what you should do. And the Titans. This is a wild card here. Huge wild card. We're getting to the point where these Tennessee Titans, with Mike Vrabel at the helm, if they really truly love Devin Lloyd and think they can coach him into somebody, he's going to be the pick here. I mean, I just think Mike Vrabel has such probably a whole, He's sentimental to the linebacker position is what I'm saying. So he could just spend a whole first round pick on Devin Lloyd. I think they'd be crazy too. With Treylon Burks and Jahan Dotson here, you gotta pick one, right? They already have AJ Brown. Get someone that can kind of stretch the field. You know what I mean? A little athletic catcher. Jahan Dotson to me is the perfect fit here. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they need linemen. You gotta protect Brady. I think Zion Johnson is easily the best. I don't want to say the best guard. I think he has the potential to be the best guard out of this whole draft class. And the Green Bay Packers. So guess who falls to them? Yes, I have them doubling up on receiver. Hear me out. They have nobody. Nobody. So if you go look at the receivers that are available right now, they have Treylon Burks, they have Sky Moore, they have George Pickens, David Bell, John Mechie. While I think all of these guys above, except for this guy, yep, Calvin Austin hater here. Anyway, they can be very, very productive for them. But now that I'm looking at these guys, I don't know if they double up here. Pretty sure they have deeper picks in the draft. You know, if you can catch a Jalen Tolbert or an Alec Pierce down the line, yeah, why would you? Yeah, they don't double up here. Why would they do that? Oh, now we got some problems here. I can see them going to Ebiketie. They lost to Darius Smith. And I know George Karlaftis has been compared to him. Yeah. I think they could. I honestly can see them going Ebiketie here. Let's look at the edge guys. Let's look at how many edge guys are left. Karlaftis, Ojabo, Ebiketie, Cameron Thomas, Logan Hall, Josh Pashko, Kingsley, and Nogberry. You're not going that deep. You're not getting to this point. But like I said, it only takes one team to like say, hey, I like that guy. I could see them doubling up a receiver, but I don't see why they would. I mean, I have Treylon Burks sliding at this point, right? Even though I really like him as a receiver, man. If he makes it to the second round, you don't pick him at 33. You're silly. You're being silly at that point. That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah, I'm only seeing one name constantly pop up in my head right now. If I'm the Green Bay Packers here at 28, and these are my available players, and I already had drafted Christian Watson. I mean, you gotta double up. Like maybe later in the draft. You don't have to like double up now. Like, do you really think Treylon Burks can be that guy? I think you do. So now I'm flipping back. I think you double up here. You don't really have a choice. You have Rashawn Gary on the other side. You got. I mean, that defense is fine. They did great without Jair Alexander. You add him to the mix. And this is a deep edge draft where yeah, you double up here. You're not going to be able to get a receiver any other way. Take the two best receivers, Treylon Burks. If Treylon Burks is available at 28, you take him. You take him. All right. Now we get to the Chiefs. After that whole debacle. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, anyway. So after that debacle, the Chiefs are picking here. I think the Chiefs also surprise people. They have back-to-back picks. Which way they pick doesn't really matter. I personally think they go George Pickens here. George Pickens gets taken in the first round. Physical receiver at the point of attack. Tall, long. The Chiefs need a guy like that. They got Juju. Imagine Juju catching a screen pass. You got George Pickens. You gotta get through George Pickens' block and then try to tackle a stocky dude like Juju. They're gonna make corners hate their job at that point. Anyway, the 30th pick with the Kansas City Chiefs. I personally thought it's kind of easy. You didn't bring back Ingram. You didn't bring back Matthew, but you got your safety. So that leaves easily the best edge available, being the of utmost importance. So let's look at the edges. Look at the edges. You got Karlaftis. You know, is that really a guy, you know, you really want on your edge? Maybe. You might. You need pass rushers though. You have Russell Wilson in your division now. You need like pure pass rushers. I could see them going to Jabo. I could see them banking on his, you know, his healing process. However, again, I don't think any team is going to spend a first round pick on Jabo now. However, I do think he will get drafted. So Arnold Ebiketie, your best pass rusher, absolutely crazy athletic. Once again, these 6'5" edges that can run and have long arms are just littered throughout this draft. Arnold Ebiketie, Boya Mafe, Jermaine Johnson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Travon Walker. It is just insane how many there are in this draft. Anyway, Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals, to me is the easiest pick of them all. Yeah, Kenny Pickett, Tyler Linderbaum, Kenyon Green. Yeah, you could go guard, but why go guard? Get a center. You know what I mean? Get a center for Joe Shiesty. Why not? Tyler Linderbaum, 31st pick, easy. I remember when there was talk of Tyler Linderbaum going in the top 15 as a center. Now I think we've all come to our senses. This is where I feel bad for the Lions. They really like George Pickens. However, the Chiefs took him from right under their noses. So again, you could go edge. They really like Karlaftis. I could see them taking Karlaftis. But my biggest surprise that I have out of this whole thing is I'm going to see them take Lewis Seen with the 32nd pick of the draft, meaning Devin Lloyd and George Karlaftis are left out of the first round. Hear me out. This draft is so deep. There's going to be guys that I had in the top 20 that might make it to the second round. And it just is what it is. It's an insanely deep draft. No true elite guy that you could say start one day. I would say Evan Neal's probably really only that guy that you can say, hey, he's gonna start day one and he's gonna be great at it. Yeah, so that's my draft. I'm going to roll through. If you think that was, if you thought that was insightful, leave a like, subscribe, do with what you please. Do whatever you do, because I'm gonna do me.